The procedures of clearance in the ports of ships, cargo, and crew and passengers is a complex issue. And the facilitation, what intends is to improve the processes in order to minimize the time for the clearance, bearing in mind that the port states, they have a responsibility, a competence and an obligations, but at the same time they have really the need to facilitate the process in order to diminish the time, and this is very good for the economy of the country in order to reduce the time of unnecessary time of ships at ports. This is really beneficial for the countries. The IMO has a committee that is the FAL committee, one of the five main committees, and the work is to discuss how to improve the processes, documents, and standardize these processes for the clearance. The committee meets every year, and currently the main participants are maritime administrations, but we are working hard to bring other administrations and private stakeholders to the discussions, because we don't have to forget that the FAL needs the participations of all the people involved: customs, immigration, health authorities, port authorities, and not only maritime authorities. Regarding the FAL convention, this is really the second convention adopted at IMO. IMO, we are celebrating this year the 70 years of the adoption of the convention and the 60 years that the meeting started really in London. And after the SOLAS convention, the second convention adopted was the FAL convention. At that time, it was a very neat, it was an instrument of the utmost interest for the shipping companies, because the requirements for clearance were very different from port to port, even in the same country. And one of the first decisions was to discuss how to align these requirements, and in fact it was adopted that 7 FAL forms were required to process. This convention was adopted in 1964, and it has a long history. But it's a convention that needs for a continuous revision in order to keep updated and live. And this is what we do in the FAL convention, in the FAL committee, to discuss how we can keep it updated in order to really maintain alive. And one of the last discussions the last amendments adopted was the obligation of submitting all the forms required for the clearance in electronic format. And this will be enforced in April next year. And we are also working hardly in standardization, and also a standardization of electronic messages and the single window for the maritime single window for the ports. The current Secretary General, Mr. Kit Lim, he joined 3 years ago. He was appointed as Secretary General. He has a long career as Maritime Administration, but he was also the President of the Port of Busan. And he is working hard to bring the ports to the IMO business. Traditionally, the IMO customers are shipping lines, maritime administrations, and also is in the last years environmental authorities for the MEPC issues regarding the air pollution, SOx, and greenhouses. But you know, in the case of the FAL committee, is needed other authorities, especially the port authorities. They know very well the business, and we don't have to forget that the business is not only the ship itself, but is regarding the ship at the end call support, and we need a good process and good interaction between ports and maritime authorities. Therefore, we need the ports on board in order that we can work on how to improve the situation. And at the end, we don't have to forget that we are speaking about business. It's not only the business of the ship, but also the business on the shore side. and this is the reason to bring the ports. We are very excited to work with UAE because it's true they have been elected for the council for the Group B. They are very active. They have a permanent representative at IMO, and the work they are making in the ports is really amazing. I mean, the single window they are working on is one of the best single windows recognized in all the world. And also we have the big experience of DP World, that is one of the biggest authorities that owns more than 70 ports around the world. Therefore, they have a lot of experience. The single window is very good, and we are really excited with the possibility to work more with them. And we hope that, I'm sure that we will be able to find good arrangements for a success of the participation of UAE. This is one of the newest technologies. I don't know personally, but I'm sure it will be a very interesting project. And once again, DP World is on the leading one of the projects, and this project can be used in other ports, I'm sure. And I'm really curious to see, and I wish all the success for the project.
And as and when necessary, IMO will be able to step in to implement the necessary regulations to ensure that this is done safely and in a harmonized way.
Yes, I mean, we will be available for that one, and we will try to help UAE as much as necessary for that one.